Hello and welcome to all the viewers in Nigeria and around the world to meet the news on Global TV, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Ubong Usoro. A quick reminder, Global Television is on DSTV channels 365 and Star Times 276. The federal government has unveiled a digital portal designed to provide a credible database for Nigerian teachers, streamlining, licensing, and promoting professionalism in the teaching sector. The portal was launched in Abuja by the Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria in partnership with the United Nations-funded Partnership for Learning for All in Nigeria program. Speaking at the event, the Minister of State for Education, Professor Suwaiba Ahmed, stated that the initiative marked a new chapter for teacher management in the country. The immediate past national chairman of the All Progressive Congress, APC, and former governor of Kano State, Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, has joined 100 of Muslim faithfuls at the Shehu Hassan Garuno Islamic Center to mark this year's Maulud celebration. The event held in Kano State drew religious leaders, scholars, politicians, and community members who gathered to commemorate the birth of Prophet Muhammad. Mukhtar Qasim has details.
Dr. Ganduje, who arrived alongside APC's 2023 governorship candidate in Kano State, Dr. Nasiru Yusuf Gawuna, was warmly received by the congregation. He offered prayers for peace, unity, and continued prosperity in Kano State and Nigeria at large. Religious scholars at the event emphasized the importance of living by the Prophet's teaching, urging the faithful to imbibe values of humility, compassion, and tolerance in their daily lives. The Maulud celebration also featured Quranic recitations, lectures, and special prayers for leaders and citizens across the country. The former governor later paid condolence visits to the families in Bachirawa and Koki, where he offered prayers and sympathized with the bereaved. Ganduje, who was accompanied by party stalwarts and community leaders, offered prayers for the repose of the deceased and extended words of comfort to the bereaved families. He described the visits as a mark of solidarity and compassion, urging the families to take solace in the will of God. Residents appreciated the gesture, saying it reflects Ganduje's continued bond with the people even after leaving office. Mukhtar Qasim reporting for Global Television News.
The federal government has warned that 9 states and 15 communities across the northern region may experience heavy rainfall that could trigger flooding between August 25th and August 29, 2025. The alert was issued on Monday by the Federal Ministry of Environment, National Flood Early Warning Center, and signed by the Director of the Erosion, Flood and Coastal Zone Management Department, Usman Abdullahi Bukani. The advisory says the states likely to be affected include Adamawa, Bauchi, Borno, Gombe, Jigawa, Kano, Katsina, Sokoto, and Zamfara states. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has called on Osun residents to collect their permanent voter cards and use the opportunity of the ongoing continuous voter registration to collect them. INEC spokesperson in Osun State, Musa Olurode, made the call in a statement in which he said over 360 permanent voter cards were lying at the Commission's office. The Commission in Osun State is using this medium to inform the general public that the ongoing voter registration exercise provides yet another opportunity for people to collect their permanent voter cards. The federal government has warned that apologies for that mix-up. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has busted a syndicate linked to the arrest of 3 innocent Nigerian pilgrims in Saudi Arabia. At the press conference in Abuja, agency's Director of Media and Advocacy, Femi Babafemi, says the suspect conspired with airport staff to secretly tag 6 drug-laden bags in the names of 3 Nigerians who had traveled for the Lesser Hajj. Crime correspondent Kike Lomo Okere reports.
According to the NDLEA Director of Media and Advocacy, Femi Babafemi, the suspects were apprehended at Malam Aminu Kano International Airport, where the group allegedly planted drugs in the luggage of unsuspecting travelers. He says the victim Miriam Hussein Abdullahi, Bahija Aminu Abdullahi, and Abdul Hamid Sadiq were arrested and detained by Saudi authorities following the discovery of the bags.
To unravel the true facts of the cases, the Chairman Chief Executive Officer of the agency caused an investigation to be conducted into the cases, and the following facts were revealed. The bags containing illicit drug substances intercepted in Saudi Arabia were checked in against the complainants' names by members of a criminal syndicate operating in Malam Aminu Kano International Airport without the knowledge of the 3 complainants. All the bags were traced to one Ali Abubakar Mohammed, alias Bello Karama.
Babafemi explained that investigation traced the crime to a 55-year-old drug baron, Mohammed Ali Abubakar, also known as Bello Karama. Several suspects have confessed, with 4 already charged to court. He added that NDLEA Chairman Brigadier General Buba Marwa, retired, is in contact with Saudi authorities to secure the release of the detained Nigerians. The agency maintained that while it continued to intensify the fight against drug trafficking, it will never allow innocent citizens to be punished for crimes they did not commit.
Above reasons, the 3 complainants were arrested and detained for crimes they had no knowledge of. In the light of the foregoing and the evidence gathered by the agency in the course of our investigation, it is clear that Miriam Abdullahi and 2 others who are being detained in Saudi are victims of circumstance implicated by the activities of a criminal syndicate operating at the Malam Aminu Kano International Airport, Makia, Kano. 6 suspected members of this criminal syndicate are already in our custody, with 4 already charged to court awaiting arraignment, while the other 2 would have their charges filed shortly.
He says the Ministry of Aviation and other security agencies are working with NDLEA to block such syndicates from exploiting Nigerian airports again. Kike Lomo Okere, Global Television News.
As the world shifts into a digital economy, content creation is becoming a new social capital. While many young people are tapping into its opportunities, some still claim they do not fully understand its potential. Our correspondent completes the report. A coalition of retired senior police officers has announced plans to stage what is called the Father of All Peaceful Protest on September the 29th in Abuja. The retired police officers are demanding their exits from the Contributory Pension Scheme (CPS). The group, under the Association of Retired Police Officers under the scheme, said it resorted to protest after years of failed engagement with government agencies, including the National Assembly, the Inspector General of Police (IGP), and the National Pension Commission (PENCOM). The Federal Capital Territory Administration has defended its clampdown on vehicles with tinted glass permits, insisting that many of the permits in circulation are fake and linked to criminal activity. The FCTA Director of Security Services, Adamu Gwari, who was represented by the Director of Command and Control Unit, Dr. Peter Olumeji, during a citywide sensitization operation, said the action was necessary despite the Inspector General of Police Directive pegging October 25th, 2025 as the enforcement date. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Ebetokun, had on August 11, 2025 extended the grace period for enforcing the ban on tinted glass permits, directing that the enforcement would take place from October 2025, giving motorists time to regularize their papers. The Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, JAMB, has directed candidates who uploaded their ordinary levels results before the release of the final 2025 West Africa Senior School Certificate Examination (WAEC SSCE) results to revisit accredited centers and re-upload their results. The examination board explained that all previously uploaded results have been cleared from its system to prevent discrepancies and ensure that the only official WAEC final results are used for admission processing. JAMB announced this in its weekly bulletin released yesterday in Abuja by its public communication advisor, Dr. Fabian Benjamin. You are watching the live broadcast of Midday News. When Midday News returns, NNPP 4 months income hits 20 trillion naira as marketers seek refineries revamp. Details coming shortly, plus business and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. In business, online loans have become a quick and convenient fix for millions of people facing financial distress. But how safe are they? As digital lending platforms expand, so do the risks. Our correspondent Sadia Mohammed takes a closer look at the promise, the pitfalls, and the real cost of borrowing with just a few clicks.
It's the new phase of borrowing instant cash, no collateral, no paperwork and approval in minutes. For people with poor credit, limited bank access or urgent needs, online loans are marketed as a lifeline. Most fall under payday or short-term installment loan. The speed is attractive, but the reality often comes with sky-high interest rates, hidden fees and tight payment deadlines that can trap borrowers in a cycle of debt.
It's good on our side because it's easy to access, you get, so when you can operate, so it's easy to access and easy to pay back.
The rise of unregulated or loosely regulated lenders, especially in developing countries, is raising alarm. Watchdog agencies say complaints about data abuse and harassment are steadily climbing.
Getting a line loan, that loan, even if you don't want to get it, there's this temptation that they will send to you, and you will even be tempted to even get it. So once you enter their trap and you get the loan from them, in fact, you get from the first time you get it, you've already entered into their trap.
Most times the side effects are the interest the bank or the organization puts on the masses or the citizens. Most times they put an interest that people cannot afford and cannot even make up.
Beyond that, some loan apps demand access to personal data, including contacts, messages and photos, creating a major invasion of privacy. Consumer groups say this data is sometimes misused to shame borrowers into repayment.
Online loans may be a quick solution, but for many, they can become a long-term burden. If you are considering one, research carefully and protect your personal information. I am Sadia Yakubu, reporting for Global Television.
The Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited generated 20.9 trillion naira between April and July 2025. This came as petroleum marketers urged the national oil firm to fast-track the revamp of the Port Harcourt, Warri and Kaduna refineries, as it now generated trillions of naira. Dealers under the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria on Monday urged NNPP to get the country's refineries working. Still, they emphasized that this must be done with zero tolerance for corruption. NNPC also remitted 7.97 trillion naira to the Federation account as statutory payments between January and June. NNPC announced this in its monthly reports for April, May, June, and July. On the foreign scene, Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney has expressed support for Ukraine's call for security guarantees as part of its peace deal with Russia. including the possibility of deploying troops to the Eastern European country. During a visit to Kyiv, where he met Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky, Kani said a group of Ukraine's Western allies, known as the Coalition of the Willing, is working with the United States to bolster Ukrainian defenses. Here is Uhi Agbemefuogbe's report.
Standing alongside President Zelensky, Mark Carney reassured the people of Ukraine of Canada's support in its war with Russia, making clear that Russia's invasion of Ukraine is an attempt at rewriting history and peace will come through strength.
Canada is under no illusions about the importance of your struggle, and you should have no doubts about the commitment of Canadians to your cause, because your cause, freedom, democracy, sovereignty, is our cause. And your history informs our history. We see this war clearly as a horrific act of aggression, a maniacal quest to recreate a history that itself was filled with injustice. And we know that peace will only come through strength.
Prime Minister Carney stated that the alliance of countries working against what he called Putin's aggression in Ukraine is becoming more effective and united.
But Putin can be stopped. Russia's economy is weakening. He is becoming more isolated. And our alliance is hardening. It's growing more effective, more determined, more united. I applaud the leadership of the transformative U.S. President Donald Trump in creating the possibilities for peace.
With the war already having claimed tens of thousands of lives, hopes for a ceasefire on the ground, however, remain dim as Kyiv and Moscow continue to exchange fire. Uyi Agbemefuogbe reporting for Global TV News.
Australia expelled Iran's ambassador on Tuesday, accusing the country of being behind anti-Semitic arson attacks in Sydney and Melbourne. It marks the first time Australia has expelled an ambassador since the World War II. Intelligence services reached a deeply disturbing conclusion after Iran directed at least 2 anti-Semitic attacks, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said. Protesters calling for an end to the war in Gaza and returns of hostages being held took to the streets in Israel on Tuesday morning ahead of a security cabinet meeting scheduled for the evening. Demonstrators blocked the road in Tel Aviv where they waved Israeli flags and held up pictures of hostages, according to AFP journalists on the ground. Israeli media reported others rallying behind a U.S. embassy branch in the city, as well as outside the houses of various ministers across the country. Arsenal will be top of the Premier League going into Match Week 3. The Gunners thrashed Leeds United 5-0 to move to the summit of the table on goals difference ahead of North London rivals Tottenham. Spurs had won 2-0 at Manchester City earlier in the day. Still in sports, Super Falcons captain Rasheedat Ajibade has completed a permanent transfer to French women's club Paris Saint-Germain. Ajibade signed a 2-year contract with the option of an additional year. The 24-year-old has already begun training with her new teammates, and an official announcement from PSG is expected shortly. Former international Victor Ikpeba has backed the Super Eagles to get their 2026 FIFA World Club Cup qualification campaigns back on track, with victories over Rwanda and South Africa. Eric Chile's side have recorded just 1 win from 6 games in the qualifying series. The West Africans occupy 4th position in their groups with 7 points from 6 games. That's it on Global TV Midday News. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channels 365 and Star Times channels 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms. now shown on your screen using Global TV NG. I am Ubong Usoro. Thanks for watching.